So, hello guys, welcome back to ZenGatto Gaming and हम लोग खेल रहे हैं यहाँ पे बहुत ही वियर्ड गेम जिसका नाम है स्टैनलीज पैरेबल। और अभी तक हमने काफ़ी एंडिंग्स डिस्कवर की है, लेकिन अभी भी काफ़ी सारी एंडिंग्स बची हुई है। नरेटर ने हमें लास्ट टाइम काफ़ी ज़्यादा फंसाने की कोशिश की और अभी भी देखते हैं काफ़ी ज़्यादा उसने हमें गेम रिस्टार्ट करवाया लास्ट टाइम। देखते हैं इस टाइम कितनी बार हम लोग रिस्टार्ट कर सकते हैं या फिर नरेटर कितनी बार हमारा गेम रिस्टार्ट करेगा। तो आइए चलिए चलिए मेरे साथ और हम लोग खेलेंगे स्टैनलीज पैरेबल एंड देखते हैं हम लोग कितनी सारी एंडिंग्स अभी हम लोग अनलॉक कर सकते हैं। तो लेट्स डाइव इनटू द गेम गाइस। अबे फिर से रिस्टार्ट।
Oh shit, here we go again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
मतलब सही रास्ते जाके भी स्टोरी इज नॉट फिनिशिंग। ओके, हमें तो फिर कुछ देखना पड़ेगा उल्टा सीधा रास्ता।
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Nine.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nine.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
नहीं जाएंगे लेफ्ट।
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the car, go left while electors.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
क्या किया यार तुम लोग ने? क्या मजाक किया?
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
बढ़िया। Speed run.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
पेंसिल नहीं थी। दौड़।
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper. Something darker. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
नहीं जाएंगे। वो नहीं। हमको सीधा जाना था।
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
वो मीटिंग रूम था। यहाँ से नीचे गए थे तो वो लग गया था। बे यार वापस आना पड़ेगा। कर दिया भाई इसने।
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
कोई कोड है क्या जो I think so there is some code. Do not alter without conversation. Whiteboard manager है जी। Meeting room floor 4x. थिंक कोई कोड है, जो कोड बताता है वो नहीं डालना है। अच्छा हाँ,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
नहीं, downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
No.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!"
Yes.
he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't
Begin the game
actually
again.
gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Hearing the
voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
Yes, sir.
Let me go back to my job.
Yes.
Let me continue pushing the buttons.
Yes, please.
It's all I want.
Yes.
I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want
and
is
my
life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
बस अब अबे अरे नहीं
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
भाई यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है भाई यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है भाई ये कहाँ फंस गया भाई ये क्या हो रहा है
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment.
Sir, you are boring me, sir.
Staring down at the body, and then she turned and ran.
Poor Stanley. Don't tell me restart. Don't tell me restart. Don't tell me restart.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
नहीं जाऊंगा, नहीं करूंगा, नहीं करूंगा. सारे कैबिनेट खोल दूंगा.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
बाहर निकालो कोई. बाहर निकालो कोई. 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 50 कर दिए भाई. 50 कर दिए.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
नहीं जाऊंगा, नहीं जाऊंगा, नहीं जाऊंगा. लेफ्ट में कोई चॉइस रह गया था. चल. I'll break your game, bitch. I'll break your game. खोल. साला.
2 very boring minutes later.
अरे भाई same shit. Oh.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
कुछ तो ले सकते हैं. I don't think so. We can take something.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
I know we can take something. दे भाई दे.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet.
Yes.
He wasn't even doing anything.
I won't do anything.
If there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
Nah.
As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
I'll stand here. I'll stand my ground, you bitch.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing?
Yes.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
मेरी मर्जी. My choice. My rules.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
इसका मतलब यहाँ पे कुछ तो है. कुछ तो है.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe
Yes.
when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
What the fuck is this? Oh my.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
ठीक है भाई. ठीक है.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
नहीं.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
नहीं.
Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, you too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
चलो भाई इसकी स्टोरी करते हैं.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ठीक है. नहीं जाना भैया वॉशरूम के ऑफिस. ओह I've got this feeling, money person, but not your. Huh? That's money person, huh? I think somehow I can open this. Kucha. ठीक है. कर दे. इधर भी जा सकता है. सेम जगह पे आ गए. नीचे लेंगे.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk. pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
यहाँ पे कोई choice है क्या? नीचे जाना है इसमें और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, इसमें नीचे जाना पड़ेगा। इसकी कोई और भी एंडिंग है क्या? क्या फिर इसकी इनकी एंडिंग ही नहीं है? And I'm stuck in a loop like Stanley. Please no.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I'll go and escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
ठीक है भाई, चलेगा. Let me go.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yes. What the fuck? Tell me restart. Let me restart.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Correct
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
पर चपटा करके मार देगा.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
AI का बॉडल. ओ बच गए. भाग.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
यहाँ से गए, ये यहाँ मीटिंग रूम, ये इधर मीटिंग रूम था. The two door set of the two door open. समझ गया भाई. वो म्यूजियम बना दिया. The office. रैंडम आवाज डाल रखी. ये क्या है? क्या यूज किए हुए हैं ऑफिस कंप्यूटर्स. आर्ट डायरेक्टर. ओ गेम खत्म हो गया. ओ भाई. बेस्ड ऑन द टीम. ओके. इतना ही था. इसका एक और था ऑफिस. उस तरफ क्या वॉरज़ोन Stanley would end up in a battlefield fighting aliens. An action game would become a scientist and will wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after the starting the building that it was too far, too choky, and no, the noise of the tone of the game. Plus, some people interrupted. It was making fun of people who like shooters. Tron. Oh भाई गेम की स्क्रीनशॉट तो fuck is this ऑफिस अच्छा 15 सेकंड का टाइमर चलता रहता है Okay. Oh, ये क्या है नेगेटिव फीडिंग है जी okay the game is now paused begin the game है देखा मैंने क्या कर रहा था हाँ फ्रीडम एंडिंग भी मिल गई मॉनिटर ओके ठीक है जाने का रास्ता किधर है क्लॉक्स क्या है ये इसकी एंडिंग कहाँ है
Stanley pushed the big red button. Stanley walked over the bridge.
Narrator recorded dialogue of the entire game 3 separate times over the 2 years. Oh boy.
Now then, this elevator for sure would get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be in the story.
मस्त अच्छा नरेटर का आवाज अच्छा है बट हमें करना क्या है what to do डोर में आना है डोर भी नहीं है गेम सही में खत्म हो गया don't think so उतर गए थे ना हम लोग don't tell me ये नहीं हो सकती इसकी एंडिंग
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps
Chahiye.
not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
भाई साहब oh
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
ayo dead And that was the game, guys, for today at least. So मज़ा आया, कुछ कंफ्यूजिंग भी था और थोड़ा बहुत वियर्ड भी लगा. नरेटर कुछ ज़्यादा ही बोल रहा था तो बीच में थोड़ी सी नींद भी आ रही थी, ऐसा लग रहा था. बट दैट वाज अ वेरी फन गेम. सो we'll continue this game in one more video. We'll try to finish as much as we can. देखते हैं और कितनी एंडिंग्स हम लोग इसकी फिनिश कर पाते हैं, कितनी मल्टीपल. सुना है काफ़ी ज़्यादा एंडिंग्स है इसकी, तो ट्राई करेंगे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एंडिंग्स अनलॉक करने की और क्या क्या एडवेंचर है हमारे पास वो भी जानने की. तो तब तक के लिए सी यू गाइस, थैंक यू एंड सी यू इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो. Adios and please like, share, subscribe.